From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. Radio Pilipinas World Service can also be heard on shortwave broadcast through the facilities of the United States Agency for Global Media, or Voice of America, on the following shortwave frequencies: 12.020 MHz, 15.640 MHz, and 17.665 MHz. I'm your host, Leo Magpayo, and this is Dateline Malacañang. Malacañang pushed back hard against allegations raised before the International Criminal Court, or ICC, that Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is trying to neutralize the legacy of former President Rodrigo Duterte. The claim came from Duterte's lawyer, Nicholas Kaufman, during his opening statement at the ICC's confirmation of charges hearing, where Duterte faces accusations of crime against humanity tied to his anti-drug campaign. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro dismissed the allegation as preposterous, saying the timeline alone disproves it. Castro argued that the ICC case was filed in 2017, years before President Marcos entered public office, adding that Kaufman seems to be the one suffering from severe cognitive impairment for ignoring that fact. The palace official, herself a lawyer, also criticized the defense for failing to directly address accusations of extrajudicial killings allegedly committed during Duterte's time as Davao City Mayor. Castro pointed to statements from Duterte's own legal team, including counsel Silvestre Bello III, who previously claimed Duterte once killed a man by throwing him out of a helicopter. She said Kaufman should learn the facts of his case rather than focus on political rhetoric. During the hearing, ICC Deputy Prosecutor Mame Manjay Niyang accused the 80-year-old Duterte of being an indirect co-perpetrator in what he described as widespread and systematic killings from 2011 to 2019, covering Duterte's years as Davao City Mayor and later as President. Duterte's camp continues to assert his innocence, with Kaufman saying the former president stands behind his legacy resolutely.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. said the record-high 57.87 billion peso Local Government Support Fund, or LGSF, for 2026 will fast-track essential services nationwide as he formally launched the program Sa Bagong Pilipinas, Bawat Bayan Makikinabang in Malacañang. Addressing governors, mayors, and local government league officials at the Heroes Hall on Monday, the president stressed that empowering local government units, or LGUs, is central to ensuring national progress is felt directly in communities. President Marcos said the initiative is built on a simple principle: local governments must have the capacity to respond to the needs of their people. He reminded local chief executives that they remain the first to confront problems and hear public grievances, adding that meaningful change begins at the community level. Under the 2026 national budget, the LGSF jumps by nearly 35 billion pesos, its largest increase ever, bringing the total to 57.872 billion pesos. The president acknowledged that the previous demand-driven system often caused delays, especially for smaller and remote LGUs. He said reforms were crafted in consultation with local government leagues to streamline processes and speed up fund releases. Among the priority programs under the LGSF is a rice assistance initiative that will provide more than 5 million families with 60 kilos of rice annually. The fund will also support the construction of hospitals and health stations, climate-resilient evacuation centers, farm-to-market roads, water systems, and electrification projects. President Marcos added that LGUs have already received about 1.19 trillion pesos in national tax allotment this year, over 15% higher than in 2025, further boosting local fiscal capacity.
Today, this administration launches sa Bagong Pilipinas, Bawat Bayan Makikinabang, an initiative anchored on the principle that our local government must be empowered to respond to the needs of the people. Bilang local chief executive, kayo ang unang nakakaramdam ng problema at unang nakakarinig ng mga hinaing. Dahil kayo ang nakakaalam ng tunay na kalagayan sa inyong komunidad, sa inyo nagsisimula ang pagbabago. For more than 3 decades, the Local Government Support Fund, or LGSF, aside from the national tax allocation, has served as the bridge between national government and local communities. Ang mga proyektong pinondohan ng LGSF ay agarang naghatid ng suporta at ginhawa sa ating mga kababayan. However, in the past, it worked mainly as, shall we say, a demand-driven system. Inilalabas lamang ang pondo kapag ang lokal na pamahalaan ay nakapag-submit ng lahat ng requirement para sa panukalang proyekto. Hindi maikaila na minsan mahirap at mabagal ang proseso, kung minsan pa nawawala yung request, lalo na sa mga maliliit at malalayong mga LGU. Kaya't inutos ko at natutukan ang mga problemang ito. Nagsagawa tayo ng malawakang konsultasyon kasama ang Union of Local, ang ULAP, the League of Municipalities of the Philippines, League of Cities ng Pilipinas, upang tukuyin kung anong mga hakbang ang kailangan natin gawin. Una, tinaasan natin na mahigit 34 na bilyong piso ang ating LGSF para sa 2026. Kaya't sa kabuuan nito, umabot na ang pondong yan sa halos 58 bilyong piso. Pinakamataas sa buong kasaysayan ng LGSF.
Was Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, local government officials are throwing their full support behind the national government's record-high Local Government Support Fund, or LGSF, for 2026, saying the boost will deliver immediate, on-the-ground benefits to communities nationwide. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. met with governors, mayors, and league officials in Malacañang for the launch of Sa Bagong Pilipinas Bawat Bayan Makikinabang following the announcement of the 57.87 billion peso LGSF, the largest in the program's history. Manila Mayor Francisco Isko Moreno Dumagoso welcomed the assistance, noting that the capital city earlier received 500 million pesos for the pamantasan ng lungsod ng Maynila College of Medicine, plus another 286 million pesos under the latest allocation. He said the new funds will help Manila purchase locally produced rice for resident assistance programs, adding that strong national support will uplift the economy, farmers, and basic services. Moreno expressed gratitude on behalf of Manila residents, calling the administration's approach foolhardy. League of Provinces of the Philippines President and South Cotabato Governor Reynaldo Tamayo said local government units or LGUs nationwide are equally pleased, stressing that communities will now feel public funds flowing directly to their needs. Tamayo said the LGSF allows local governments to deliver rice allocations, build concrete roads, and pursue other infrastructure projects that translate national progress into tangible improvements for ordinary citizens.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday said more than 5 million Filipino families will receive 60 kilos of rice annually under the expanded Local Government Support Fund or LGSF, part of the administration's push to ease food insecurity and support vulnerable households. Speaking at the launch of Sa Bagong Pilipinas Bawat Bayan Makikinabang in Malacañang, the President said the rice assistance is included in the 58 billion peso LGSF allocation for 2026. Each beneficiary family will get 10 kilos of rice per month for 6 months. President Marcos said the program aims to ensure families have food on the table, improve children's nutrition, and help ease daily expenses. Beyond rice aid, the LGSF will bankroll upgrades to health facilities, disaster preparedness projects, and key infrastructure such as farm-to-market roads, electrification, and water systems. The chief executive said these investments will help lower prices and raise farmers' incomes by strengthening local agriculture. Under the new setup, funds will be released directly to local government units or LGUs to speed up implementation and cut through bureaucratic delays. President Marcos emphasized that efficient delivery of services depends on strong coordination between LGUs and their communities. The President said the administration's goal can only be achieved through continued unity and cooperation.
Upang matiyak na ang bawat sentimo ng pondo ay malinaw ang direksyon, nagtakda tayo ng mga prioridad na programa na magpapalakas ng ating mga sektor. Sa usaping pagkain, mula sa LGSF, mamamahagi tayo na 60 kilong bigas sa higit 5 milyong pamilyang Pilipino. Makakatanggap ang bawat pamilya ng 10 kilong bigas sa loob ng 6 na buwan kada taon. Sa tulong na ito, may maihahin na sa hapag ang bawat pamilyang Pilipino. Mas magiging maayos ang nutrition ng ating mga kabataan at kahit papano'y gagaan ang gastusin sa araw-araw. Popondohin din natin ang pagtatayo ng mga ospital at health station. Sisikapin na magdagdag ng mga medical equipment upang maging mas abot kamay ang serbisyong medikal. Inaasahan nating mababawasan ang pag-aalala ng mga Pilipino sa kanilang kalusugan. Kailangan na rin nating paigtingin ang ating paghahanda laban sa mga sakuna na pinalala ng climate change. Bibigyan natin ng suporta ang ating mga kababayan upang magkaroon ng multipurpose hall, sports facilities, iba pang mga pasilidad na maaaring magamit bilang evacuation center. At iba na ang disenyo nito upang kaya na kahit na gaano kalakas ang bagyo o lindol na dumating sa atin. Magsisilbi ito na lugar para sa pagkatuto, pagsasanay ng mga atleta, ligtas na mga masisilungan tuwing may sakuna. Susuportahin din natin ang pagsasagawa ng farm-to-market road at local road network upang mapabilis ang galaw ng mga produkto, ng serbisyo at ng mga mamamayan. Makakatulong ito upang bumaba ang presyo ng mga bilihin at tumaas naman ang kita ng mga nagsasaka. Maisa sa katuparan lamang ang ating mga hangarin kung patuloy ang ating pagkakaisa at ang ating koordinasyon.
That was Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. called on local government units or LGUs to fast-track the construction, repair, and rehabilitation of classrooms, stressing that safe and adequate learning spaces are essential for the country's youth. At a ceremony in Malacañang, the President received the Memorandum of Agreement between the Department of Education or DepEd and city officials for the nationwide Classroom Building Program, formally bringing LGUs into the rollout of school infrastructure projects. President Marcos said the country's classroom shortage, now at more than 140,000 units, continues to burden both students and teachers. The chief executive noted that overcrowded rooms and shifting schedules make learning more difficult and teaching more demanding. Under the program, the LGUs will handle project implementation, procurement, and on-site management, while DepEd will set technical standards, validate projects, and monitor compliance to ensure proper use of public funds. Funding will be released in 3 tranches through dedicated trust accounts, with strict monthly and quarterly reporting. The first tranche of 9.6 billion pesos will cover more than 4,000 classrooms, while another 1,700 classrooms worth 5.96 billion pesos are included under the new agreement. President Marcos reminded LGUs to deliver projects on time and uphold construction quality, saying classroom infrastructure is a core part of broader efforts to support teachers, provide learning materials, and raise education standards nationwide. The President said the initiative marks a shift toward faster, more responsive implementation of school building projects across the country.
As of January 2026, we have still a classroom shortage of more than 144,758 to be specific, units. So we cannot wait for decades, years, to give every student a safe and conducive classroom for effective learning. Kapag kulang ang classroom, masikip ang klase, nahahati sa ilang shift ang pasok ng mga estudyante, mas nahihirapang matuto ang mga mag-aaral, mas nabibigat ang magturo ang mga guro, at mas nangangamba ang mga magulang. Kaya in-instructionan ko ang DepEd na pabilisin ang pagtayo ng mga silid-aralan at siguraduhin na maayos ang pagpapatupad nito. Ito nga, dahil nga natin na pag-isipan na isama ang gawing partner ang mga LGU, dahil pag sa aming mga kalkulasyon, pagka inaasahan lang natin ay ang DepEd, ay kulang na kulang pa rin ang magiging eskwelahan. Kaya dinagdagan natin ang mga iba't ibang programa upang mapabilis ang construction ng ating mga classroom.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, the Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH, is moving to replace the deteriorating Bridge of Promise in Batangas City with a stronger, expanded structure. DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon inspected the bridge Monday, saying the move follows President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s directive to build a safer and more durable replacement. The bridge, which connects the Kumintang Ibaba Town and Gulod Labak Town, has long shown signs of wear. Dizon noted that although it was intended as a temporary structure when built in 2009, it has remained in use for 17 years. The DPWH has requested 300 million pesos under the 2027 budget to upgrade and widen the bridge. The plan includes expanding it from 2 lanes to 4 to improve traffic flow and safety.
nag-instruct na ako kay RD, tsaka kay ARD, tsaka kay DE na isama na to sa 2027 budget para mapalitan na. So, more or less mga 300 million pesos ang budget nung replacement. Pero kasama dun sa 300 million, iwa-widen na rin natin. So, makikita nyo, kumikitid siya, 2 lanes lang dito from 4 lanes. So ito, gagawa na tayo dito. 4 lanes na to hanggang doon. So, next year na. So, titingnan natin kung magkokongkreto tayo o magsi-steel na nga tayo, reinforced steel bridge na nga, para mas mabilis din gawin. Pero, importante mapalitan na talaga ito. So, problema natin talaga, daming mga bridge na ganito, na marami mas matanda pa dito, all over the country. So, kailangan talaga, we need to fund the bridges next year.
That was Department of Public Works and Highways Secretary Vince Dizon.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Bureau of Customs, or BOC, is warning overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, to stay alert against syndicates using fake job offers and free tours to turn unsuspecting travelers into drug couriers. The agency says criminal groups continue to target OFWs by disguising recruitment schemes as opportunities abroad, only to use them in smuggling illegal drugs into the country. Custom officials are urging Filipinos to verify the legitimacy of recruiters and employers, scrutinize all documents and travel arrangements, and never allow anyone to place items in their luggage or ask them to carry bags on their behalf. The Bureau advises OFWs to immediately contact the Department of Migrant Workers or the BOC if they find suspicious items in their belongings or believe they may have been victimized, saying quick reporting is crucial to ensuring their safety.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, the Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, has opened a new welcoming space for overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, with the launch of Kapihan sa Tahanan at its central office in Mandaluyong City, offering free coffee to OFWs visiting the agency. The initiative was formally unveiled at the Blas F. Ople building, led by Migrant Workers Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak, Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, or OWA Administrator Patricia Yvonne Kaunan, and Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, or TESDA Secretary Jose Francisco Benitez, together with senior officials from both DMW and OWA. According to the DMW, Kapihan sa Tahanan is designed to make the agency's headquarters feel more like a true home for OFWs, providing a warm, comfortable space where they can rest, wait, and refresh while processing documents or seeking assistance. Officials say the project reflects the government's broader push to deliver humane, efficient, and high-quality frontline services to overseas Filipino workers, who are recognized as the country's modern-day heroes. The agency emphasized that even small gestures, such as offering a cup of coffee, are part of a larger commitment to treat OFWs with dignity and care as they navigate their concerns at the DMW.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, Radyo Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service can be heard over the following shortwave frequencies: 12.020 MHz, 15.640 MHz, and 17.665 MHz. Radyo Pilipinas World Service is also live on audio streaming. Just download Evox PBS Receiver on your Google Play Store or the App Store from your Apple phone. You can also visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Just type in and search for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our post as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.